Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. What a great day. Happy Thursday, everyone.
Happy Thursday. Oh my gosh. And what a week. What a wonderful week, right, Alicia? To be here with
Absolutely.
everyone.
Yes. What a pleasure to have you all here. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce Monet Swan, President and CEO of BIVX Wealth and Insurance Solutions Collaborative Expansion Foundation. Hashtag empower her. NIL, and many other places that we'll be listing them later on.
Oh
But
my
thank
gosh.
you for having you here, Monet. You are a pioneer, a light, a beacon to many people. You have so many followers and so many loyal clients you have helped over the years. So we're honored to have you here today.
Well, I am so honored, really, to be here with you guys because what a journey it's been when you are opening so many different companies and you're collaborating with each other and you're bringing in top VIPs and they're all coming in with all this energy and all of this knowledge to level everyone up. It's just a wonderful feeling. And then having someone like you as my co pilot on all of these adventures, you guys. I am talking about when we first started out in the financial industry. She was here with me, growing across the country, being able to express our love and our passion for what we do. It's why we have created the Secure 65, why we've created, hashtag empower her, why we've created the NIL steps for young athletes who don't know who to turn to, who don't know who to trust. All of these different variations of support are there because we know it's important, and community
Yes.
is more important than ever, right? Being able to tell people we're here, we love you, we got your back. Call us, let us know what it is. There's nothing too small and nothing too large. So thank you, Alicia Alcano, for being on this journey with me. And as we continue to go forward, today we're talking about what? Millennial Money Hacks.
Yes.
Woo! I'm
Yes.
excited because we
So
didn't have
stay
this growing
tuned.
up, did we? We didn't have anybody talking to us about
No.
hacks. We didn't even get it in school. Nothing. And then we're supposed to go out there and take over the world. Well, the world to
I
some of
know.
us took over us.
But now all these amazing topics. So stay tuned, stay engaged. Send
Yes.
us your questions to info@mybibix.com and we'll address them all. If you also want to meet with us on a one-on-one and you want us to review your situation, we're more than happy to help you out. And that's what we're here for, to engage, empower the next generation so we have a better future, not just for us, but for you as well. So, without any delays, let's bring up our amazing presentation.
Perfect. And before we start in, just know that we're on Zoom, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, everything. So if you can't DM us, then send us a email and we'll get it right away. We've got a marketing team that will be able to pull it up and send it right to us, and we'll be able to help you and answer questions before we leave. And if we can't, we will definitely answer your questions outside of this. Okay, I'm getting off.
So, no worries, no worries. Without any delays, let's take a look at these millennials money hacks, crush them, and build wealth. So, there's a lot of topics coming your way. And let me bring back Monet Swan so she can start with you in this amazing journey today.
Yeah, you can't get rid of me that quickly. But I just wanted to give you an overview of what's going to happen today, you guys, because it is fantastic. We're going over budgeting, college loans, family planning, life and supplemental insurance, how to use it, and then just a quick overview. What's important is this PowerPoint has been created so that those who have signed in with us can have it. And it's not one of those PowerPoints, the one, you guys, that you get it and then you get it home and you're like, well, these are just bullet points. I don't really remember what goes along with it. So, no, it is very detailed so that you can follow the steps. And then if you have questions, you can always call us. Okay. So, this is the reason why we're bringing it to you this way. And without further ado, we're going to get right into budgeting. Alicia?
Thank you, Monet. So, yes, we have amazing information coming to you. So, These days, technology is at our fingertips, giving us the very best of all worlds. So, what not to utilize it? So, I remember, and this existed many years ago, we're going back 20, 25 years ago. You could go to your payroll department and say, I want this much to go into this account and this much to this account. And I remember having an emergency fund available based on that. So now there are apps, but you can also work with your payroll department. So out of, out of mind, out of sight. So you don't touch what is needed perhaps later in life. And we can all use different type of savings for unexpected things, whether it's something planned or something unexpected. So for example, I'm going to show you what apps are very popular right now that you can use it to track your money. That way, you know specifically where the money is going, where are opportunities to save, and what you may consider canceling altogether. So, for example, and again, this PDF will be available for you at the end of the presentation so you know exactly where to go. So, we have these tracks, there are called budgeting apps. You can have one location for all your needs, all your expenses, and know exactly how much money is coming out of each account every month and when, which is the most important thing, so you know that you have enough to pay everything. So, for those who may be wondering what the YNAB stands for, is for you need a budget. And who doesn't need it? These days, we cannot survive without one. Also, there are these amazing apps these days available in the Apple Store that you can download, just like you download music. You can download, and it takes you about approximately of a minute and a half to have everything set up. You download them, and then you enter your information. So why I am promoting them, I'm mentioning them because every time you spend on whether it's gas, whether it's groceries, whether it's at a retail store, you can then scan those receipts. And those receipts go and accumulate rewards. The rewards turn into cash. Two ways to retrieve them. You can either request a store, a retail gift card, or you can connect your checking account or your savings account if you prefer. And that money will go directly there once you reach the amount required. So it doesn't matter what you spend your money on, every penny counts these days. And why not to benefit? I know a millennial that she and her husband buy diapers every month in bulk. So as soon as they do it, they scan it, and the rewards are even bigger because the same money comes back to them. Hey, they can use it to go out for dinner or to buy more diapers. So take advantage of the technology at your fingertips. What do you think, Monet, about this? This didn't exist in my time.
Oh no, we didn't have anything like this. Well, we're not going back to the dinosaurs, but what I tell you is we could not click on any apps. We had something called stamps. I don't know if you remember that,
Yes.
Alicia. You get
Yes.
stamps, and then you'd have to collect a book, and then you have to take the book, and you'd get discounts there. But let me ask you a question: with those different apps, are there different rewards for them, or are they all pretty much the same?
They're all pretty much the same, and some are more forgiving than others. But imagine an app that will take gas every time you go by the gas station and fill it up. Just request a little receipt. Go to eat out, you also ask for a receipt. The whole thing is this: no more than 2 weeks old, the app will accept the receipt, which is a
Okay.
good thing. So as soon as you get it and you have your phone, anywhere you are, just take a photo. That's pretty much the scanning of the receipt. Make sure is visible and completely, and then it will give you check marks that is accepted. You put it in, and it gives you a ding ding, great rewards coming your way. As soon as you reach a certain amount of rewards, then you qualify for either gift cards or a direct deposit into your checking account.
So it's a millennial money hack because not only can they
Mm.
get everything recorded and documented, but at the end of the
Mhm.
year for taxes, it's all in one place. And they're also
Yes.
getting discounts and rewards. That's a money
Yeah,
hack. I'm making money by being organized. Go figure.
exactly.
I love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yes, 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 yes. And I'll bring the next topic that we have on our agenda today.
This is my favorite topic, you guys. The 50-30-20 rule. Mwah! It's perfect. Why? Because I think we get a little overwhelmed. I know I do when I'm trying to manage my money, and it depends on what I think is important. And so, this 50-30-20 rule, what it does is it breaks it down for you so you know how to allocate your money without getting stressed. So, real simply said, the 50% of it is for your needs. Now, I know there's been a lot of discussions about needs and wants and all that kind of stuff, but 50% of it is for your needs, 30% of it is for your wants, and then 20% of it is going to be specifically for savings, debts, and repayments like college loans, or if you've got credit cards or stuff like that. So we're going to go through this, and I'm going to have an example because I think when we look at specific case scenarios, it helps you put things in perspective as to how you could utilize it. So in this one, we have a female named Sarah, and her monthly income is $3,500. Okay, that's about average, right? So on that type of income, her first need is going to require 50% of her 3,500. So what are those needs? Well, simply rent. If you're renting or if you've got a mortgage, typically millennials are renting. There are some that own their homes, and that's fabulous. It would still be in this category. Okay. So then you put your utilities. So that's going to be your electricity, your water, and your internet, your groceries. You got to eat. So those of you who say, oh, that's not really a need, it is a need. Put it in the needs category. The next part is transportation. So, what does that include? So, if you're on public transport, you want to make sure that that public transit has a specific amount that you're going to put away. If it's gas, start tracking how much you use on an average for gas, put that aside. Car insurance, put that aside. Okay. And then your minimum debt payments. That is something that you have signed off on. You saying, I'm going to make this every month, and you are not to vary from that. So under that 3,500, 50% would be 1,750. Okay. So now we put all that together to say this is what that 1,750 is going to go to. That's your 50%. Now we're going to go to part two, which is the 30%. This is where it gets a little iffy. Everybody's got their, different wants. We can't put everything in there. And some of those things we don't want to put in there because, that's your own private business. But when we look at what you're doing, you've got 1,050 still for once. I want you to think about that, because a lot of times we get in trouble because we start taking money that has been allocated for something else that is a need, and it really is a want. So what are the categories? Dining out and coffee shops. I happen to be an avid Starbucks lover. So yes, when I look at that, that's about right. Dining out for the month, going to coffee shops or whatever, it's about $200. Okay. Entertainment, that's also in the want. You need to have some entertainment. Don't sit there and say, oh, I'm just a scholar or I'm a monk and I don't need any entertainment. You need entertainment. If you play, you work. If you work, you play. So for that, you got $100. Shopping. Everybody has to buy something from time to time, whether it's something for your computer, it's something for your home, whether it's clothes or accessories. That category is in there as a want as well. Travel. If you can, do a weekend getaway. Weekend vacations are excellent for just refreshing and getting yourself in a place to go back and be creative at work. And then last but not least, you got $200 for hobbies. So $300 for travel, $200 for hobbies, which would include art supplies, if that's what you do, and gym memberships. Now, I know you will say, I really think that's a need. Well, it's not a need. So let's just get there. Okay. A gym membership is something you can do at home. All right. Now, if you need to go there because you don't have enough discipline, then by all means, carve out a little bit out of your need and put it there. If it's on a monthly schedule, do that. However, it really should stay in the want category. And lastly, your 20% is for savings, debts, and repayment. I can't tell you how many millennials I have spoken to who said, I just don't have any money left over to take care of any emergencies. Oh, but you must. You must. It's not even up for negotiation. You must have some emergency funds put aside. Why? Because emergencies do happen and they are unexpected, right? So the only way you can plan for that is to set aside a little small portion to take care of that. So that would take care of going to the hospital, your car breaks down, any type of emergency that you can imagine that you would need those funds for right away. I think they're saying most Americans have less than $400 in their savings account, which is not enough to help you get through a month. So let's start now creating these great habits. The next part of the 20% is your retirement savings. You should have something put aside for either a 401k, an IRA, or an HSA. We're going to get into the HSA a little bit later. $300. It's a pretty good chunk of change for a millennial, and it's doable. And then the last thing is extra debt repayment. How many times have you thought, gosh, I really just had, if I had just a little bit more, I could kind of get out of some of these high interest credit cards? There are ways that we can actually put that in line for you as well. So I want you to look at it. This doesn't seem like it's that hard to do when you think about it. And everything is something that you can allocate based on what you need to do. So looking at this is very doable. Right, Alicia?
Absolutely. It's
When we
not a roller coaster that we're throwing at you, but incremental changes that can help you becoming more financially stable
so
and do better planning.
Oh, absolutely. So the total monthly savings is doable and it's done. So by making these just small adjustments, you guys, you can have enough money to do little things. And so when you look at the additional savings, it's about $190. In this case, she can allocate additional $300 towards her saving and debt repayment goals, totaling $190 for monthly savings plus $300 that she's already got for savings and debt repayment, and that's $490, almost $500 a month to create a solid financial foundation. Is it doable? Absolutely. So I think what I want you to look at this as a game. Finances are a game, and you can be a, what do they call it, an NPC? So a non-player character or a RPC, a real player character. Those who are not looking at this as a game and learning the rules to play, you're an NPC and you're getting burnt out, right? Look at this as I want to be a real player in the game. I am a real character. I'm going to navigate my finances, and it's not hard to do. Set the foundation and then let it ride. If you have to move things around, now at least you know where you can take things from and you can move them. And I think it makes the journey much more plausible, much more easy to navigate, and quite frankly, enjoyable, because you're not thinking each month, how am I going to make ends meet? We can create that for you. And this gives you the opportunity to look at it on your own time and figure out what works best for you. So that's how I'm going to start off with my section of money hacks for millennials.
That is fantastic, Monet. And let me give you a couple of tips. Our latest statistics show that one of the highest expense in a home is not utilities, it's not internet, but food. Groceries are the highest and most expensive thing these days due to the inflation. So what can we do to help us out? Don't forget those apps that you can scan those receipts so you can get rewards. And also, here's another tip that can help you out. For example, for utilities, electricity. As we go into the summer months, we start using more electricity because we want to be comfortable working from home. So
Yeah.
AC goes up, more electricity is consumed. Same thing during the winter. You're cold, you want to be comfortable, you're using more heat. So companies these days give you what is called a budget plan. which is the same amount in your bill every month. They balance it through the whole year. And at the end of the year, there may be a little bit adjustment, maybe $10, $20 more, just to even it out. But imagine knowing exactly how much you're going to pay in utility is a huge advantage. And everyone can take advantage of this. All you got to do is go online, literally. You don't even have to call them. Go online, submit the application, and they will get back to you within about a week and a half, and they'll let you know exactly how much amount they can work with you. So isn't that great?
I think that's a money hack. I don't think a lot of times we know how much power we have when it comes to negotiating our bills. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but everything is negotiable. Everything is negotiable. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care where you're going. Don't just take whatever somebody says. If you can't afford it, then we need to have a conversation. We need to figure out how we can afford it and how we can stretch it so that we're comfortable in our daily lives. As we're continuing to create more money, we want to make sure that we're able to put money aside and we're using money where we see it going and it's just not floating away from us. So I love it.
Exactly. And that brings you to the next topic for Monet. So let me bring it up.
We are continually on this millennial budgeting. And so one of the things we didn't have growing up, so I'm a baby boomer. I love millennials. I love the energy. I love the desire to learn. We didn't have subscription auditing. We didn't have subscriptions. We had pencil and paper and a bill that came in the mail, and we call it snail mail. And we had a little time to kind of negotiate whether we had everything or not. But in this digital age, everything is digital. So you guys know it better than we do how to optimize your life and your bills. So we're going to go to the next slide and talk about what that looks like. So subscription auditing. There are so many different platforms that you can go in, put your bank account in there, and it will tell you where you have subscriptions that are being paid. Have to get on them. I think one of them is called Rocket or something like that. That'll be in your package when you get it. But there are a few that are really, really good. And what happens is you have to understand companies that use subscription models, they make money off of you forgetting it after the trial is over, right? So you might have said, I feel like I want to try this. And you try it. Oh, it's only $2.99. And then you forget about it because it was only $2.99. And then what happens? That $2.99 keeps coming out. You forget it. There's something else that comes in and you were right on the edge and now your bank account is overdrawn. We don't want that happening. It could be $2.99. It could be $4.99. It could be $59.99. When you talk about software subscriptions, they can become very, very expensive, especially if you're using it for work or home or side hustle. So we're going to go through a list of what you need to keep in mind when you're doing a subscription audit. And I would suggest everybody do this today. This is one of the major money hacks so that you can keep more money in your account. So first, compile a list. What should the list be comprised of? Well, first of all, your financial statements. Put that in a list. Get your bank statements, get all of your credit card statements, and that should include your streaming services, your gym memberships, software subscription, and magazine subscriptions. Why? Because now we have a starting point. Now we know exactly what you're paying. Then you're going to go to part 2 of this, and that's just evaluating the necessity and the value of each subscription. Number 1, is this subscription essential for my life and or work? Has to be. If you're trying to stay on a somewhat of a strong budget, and when I say strong, one that doesn't give you a lot of flexibility, it has to be essential for you to hold on to it. Number 2, am I getting value for the money I'm spending on this subscription? A lot of times we don't look at it as value. So I've got about 3 or 4 that are $4 or $5. And the next thing you know, you've got $30, $40, $50 coming out of your account. Figure out the value that you're getting from that subscription and see, can I find a cheaper alternative, or do I need it? Do I need to just get rid of it altogether? So understanding that's part 2 is the evaluation process of every subscription. Part 3, categorizing your subscriptions. So again, we're going to go back to essential. Can you live with it or without it? What do you use it for? People are using subscriptions for everything to pay all of their bills, whether you're doing it through your bank account, whether you're doing it through the company that you're paying. Subscriptions are being utilized for everything. The good thing about it is, yes, you can set it up and forget it, but if something changes and that's still coming out, you want to stay on top of it. And remember, the essential amount of money needs to be there at all times. B is, so what's important, right? So essential, got to have it. Non-negotiable. B, important. So important are those subscriptions that would enhance your quality of life. Those things that aren't really necessary, but they make your life easier, right? So it could be a chat GPT or any of the subscription models that translate or whatever that make your life a little bit easier because you don't have to do all the research. That could be something that's important. C are the non-essentials. Those are nice to have, but not crucial, like streaming services, like your Netflix. Oh, I know you love your Netflix, and oh, I know you love your Disney and all that, and we love it too. Can you afford it right now? Or is it a non-essential? You can always add it later, but as we get organized, there are steps to getting organized. So I want you to see this as a millennial hack. Organization is always going to be number one. Whether you're a baby boomer, Gen X, Gen Z, millennial, doesn't matter. Once you get organized and you're able to audit your subscription, that's going to keep more money in your bank account. And that's really the goal, is to make it balanced so you're not so concerned about what's going on in your life, because whatever comes at you, you've got a plan for it and you've got money set aside for it. So that's how we would use that. So when it comes to the conclusion on how you use subscription audits, simply keeping informed, evaluating your important subscriptions. The benefits of having it is cost savings, increase awareness of where you're putting your money, and then simplifying the financial process. Getting the most out of your money and directing your resources to what matters most is what life is all about. Whether it's financial, whether it's spiritual, whether it's mental, whether it's social. If it doesn't add value to you, then I want you to use the information that you're receiving, go back and evaluate it as your own personal hack as to how to make your life better. Because everything that you need to do is within your reach, but you need to know what it is, and then we need to help you get there. So that's going to be it for the millennial budgeting hack.
Exactly. And what we're saying is take control of those subscriptions that may be taking a little bit too much out of your time and out of your budget,
Yes.
and put it into something that will be more valuable to you. So every situation is different. So we gave you some ideas. And on the next one we have is something that we all live with it, have experienced it, and is college loans.
Ah!
Yes, but we have great information for you so you can take advantage of that.
Love it. Let's get into it.
Okay, so we all went through our college years and we borrowed money to get the career of our dreams. And then when we graduate, oh my goodness, we end up, hey, with a large amount of loans. No worries. In many situations, you can refinance a loan for a better interest rate and perhaps better lower monthly payment or extended payment plan. Now, in those situations, it works. In other ones, could be consolidating your student loans. Let's say you have 3 or 4 and you just want one time in the month to pay for those loans. So in that situation, a consolidation is in your best interest. So what we say is be careful who you go to. Make sure that you do your homework for lenders so you are not surprised of any hidden fees. And you check their history, you check their reviews, because you want to make sure that it works in your best interest. Now, some of you may say, well, my credit is not that good. So how will I be able to qualify for them? Very easy. No one situation is the same for all. So you can have what is called income-driven repayment plans that can work according to your income. And depending on that is how the monthly payment or repayment plan is adjusted. You also have loan rehabilitation that can work with you, your local in your local state. We'll give you those details as well. So you have this information. Seek assistance from programs. People are not aware that, let's say, single moms qualify for extra um, federal government assistance plans that can help them with groceries. You also negotiate with your lender. What is your ideal payment plan that you're looking for? And how long can you stretch it for so the payments can be lower? And last but not least, that way, improve your credit score. We know that we're in an era where credit is everything these days, and we want to help you out so you can improve it. So later, you become an owner of a business, or let's say you want to buy a house, you qualify for a better vehicle. So we want to make sure that we're here for you. So, one short recap, make sure that you check the lender, the history, the reviews to make sure that you're not going for unrecognized lenders. And believe me, there are some that take advantage of the young crowd because, hey, they're new to that. So, we're here to help you out. So, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, there is a 833 number and an email. Reach out to us if you need some assistance. We'll help you out navigating that industry of lenders. So don't feel that you are by yourself because we've been here a little bit longer than you have, haven't we, Monet?
Oh, thanks, Alicia. That's what I like to come in on when you're talking about how old we are. I appreciate it. Thanks. But I will say, people, we've had these debates whether you should get a loan, whether you shouldn't, should you
Mhm.
consolidate it, should you not consolidate it? And no matter how you look at it, if you get the right IDR, it will change your life. It will give you the
Yes.
flexibility that you're always wanting, and it will never, ever go back to what the regular payment would be. So it's life changing. And knowing how to do the process is everything, which is why it is another one of our millennial money hacks.
Yes.
This is my topic, the income driven repayment plan playbook. And I want to tell you, when you look at it, if you are burdened with federal student loans, we're going to talk about the eligibility criteria and really how these plans can help reduce your monthly payment. But now remember, it's based on your income and your size of the family. So, I love case scenarios. So here we're going to meet James. So how did he use his IDR? So let's just tell you a little bit about him. So his occupation is he works at a nonprofit. He doesn't make a lot of money, and he has lots and lots of student loan debt. Most of the times people will ask me, so what's the process? What does it look like? Well, first and foremost, you got to do an application. So you apply for an IDR through your loan servicer. So whoever that is, that's where you need to start. It's going to request or require that you submit information about your finances or tax returns. Then it calculates it inside the platform what your monthly payments are going to be based on your discretionary income and your family size. So that's step one. Step two, the monthly adjustments are then put in place. So the monthly adjustment is to make your payments more manageable and to have it aligned with your income. But again, the monthly payments will never increase more than your standard repayment plan. So if you're afraid, well, I don't want to get in there, I don't want to make a mistake, you can't really make a mistake. Now, there are probably different options. Sometimes you should consolidate and sometimes you shouldn't. But what I love about the platform, it will give you the guidance, and you can also call them and they'll also give you guidance. Step number 3 is the financial flexibility. So thanks to James taking advantage of his IDR, he has more financial flexibility to cover his monthly expenses, save for emergencies without feeling burdened by student debt. And he has extra funds available for investments and even a well-deserved vacation, even though a lot of millennials take some anyway. Why not take some and not be burdened about, oh my God, I shouldn't have used that money? So in conclusion, the IDR plan isn't just a student loan repayment program, you guys. It's a lifeline that provides breathing room post graduation so that you can really navigate ups and downs of life while focusing on your dreams and not being burdened with how the IDR program works. Everything is lined out and how much money you're going to spend on a monthly basis until you pay these loans off. Who knows? Maybe our government will even kick in and you won't have to. But until that happens, IDR is your best friend. Alicia?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Our
It's crazy.
children,
We didn't have
millennials,
that.
all need all this information at their fingertips because there are more assistance, more help, more hacks these days than ever before. So why not help you navigate these waters in a better way?
Absolutely.
And that
Absolutely.
brings me to the next topic because you're going to be very interested on it.
The
In
next
our
millennial money hack?
yes, absolutely. So
Ooh, loans.
public service loan forgiveness. And you will say, well, what exactly is that it? Well, it's very simple. You can qualify for forgiveness of your student loans by meeting certain criteria. You can work for the federal government, you can work for a nonprofit organization. There are some requirements and guidelines that they ask for it. For example, you need to work at least 30 hours a week. Also, pay 120 payments and work for that organization for at least 10 years to qualify for it. Now, if you meet those criteria, then it's very easy to go to studentaid.gov, select Go to My Activity, and download the unsigned form. Make sure that you follow the instructions, you follow the procedures, and you attach anything that is required. Now, would you say, well, I don't know whether they're going to be able to pay because I may have more than the requirements? Actually, there's no limit on how much they can pay out of your student loans. If you meet the criteria, they can start at 20,000 and even go beyond 100,000. So now, this is something that you need to know about this. When you submit your application, make sure that you meet the requirements on any paperwork that they ask you for it. So let's say you submit it and it gets rejected. You have another opportunity to submit it after 30 days. And again, review it quite a few times to make sure that you're not missing anything. Let's go and submit it again, and somehow you forgot to attach something went wrong during the submission. Then you have to wait 3 months, 90 days to do another submission for a re-evaluation. Okay, so take your time, be diligent, do the homework, collect everything that is done, and then submit it. And if you have any questions, again, you can email us or call us, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. What do you think, Monet? Forgiveness is everything this day,
Oh,
isn't it?
absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to kind of tell them a little bit more about really what type of opportunities or jobs they should be in to look for the loan forgiveness. So it's like U.S. military would qualify, public elementary school and secondary would qualify, public schools and universities would qualify. So
Mhm.
we have a huge list that will also pass out to you. So if you're one of those, make sure you check that off. And or if you are about to become one of those, so if you're getting
Mm.
ready to join either one of any of these that will send you, you also still have an opportunity. So it's not just done because you're not already in the military or anything like that. Once you go in to do the loan forgiveness, you can say that I am currently working, or I just got accepted to work. And
Mm.
all of that will also be taken into consideration. So I think it's just wonderful to know what the criteria is and then how to use it, because it's really simple to do. Once you know the rules of engagement,
Yep.
you can do a lot of things with these loan forgiveness. You
So
might want to do it on the side anyway. You might want to decide, if you are a socially conscious millennial, you might
mhm,
want to join an organization that not only helps you, but you also help them. So there's ways that, you can make the partnership agreement with
yep,
them that's beneficial to both sides.
exactly. So if you're saying, oh, I didn't write all that information, no worries. The PDF will be available later on after the session, so you have it at your fingertips. And on that note, I'll bring you a topic very close to
Excellent.
Mona's heart. Yes.
Building a family friendly emergency fund. Whew, okay, so I just want you to know, building this fund is important not only for your peace of mind, but for your family being able to have money that they can utilize. So we're going to show you how you can factor in medical expenses, childcare costs, and in case you lose a job, how you can keep your family on point as you can continue to grow along this journey called life. Family planning for millennials and Gen Z. So there are a few different things I want to hit on as quickly as possible because the time is going so fast. Number one is bundling insurance policies. So what does that mean? I know you've got to have mandatory auto insurance if you're driving and you own a car. And if you either rent or own a home, you want to have it. There are companies that will bundle your insurance policies that will save you money, not only on the overall with discounts, but also if you are set up to pay them monthly. A lot of times they tag on a little bill for that, right? So if you think, oh, it's not that big of a deal, Monet, how much would I save? Well, if you're paying $6 just to pay online each month, that can turn into a lot of money. So there's a couple of options. You can either get a carrier that will take care of your auto, home, life insurance, all of that at one time. They'll give you a discount based on whether you're in college or you're not in college, you've got a degree, or you're with a specific industry. Or you can start policies with different companies with us. We give you the discount and we will set up your payments through us. So you would be having the freedom and flexibility to say, this is when I want to make the payments. We'll set that up, and it's called an agency bill. We put it together so that you have the flexibility to pay when you want to. So bundling insurance policies and understanding the discounts is huge. We need to talk about it. Number two, the health savings account. We did a seminar on that last week. The HSA accounts, every millennial should have one. And the reason you should is if you're not sickly. Let me preface that. If you are not someone who has medical conditions, it's a health saving account, which means you're going to pay less in premiums, but higher in the deductible, which is called a high deductible health plan, HDHP. Now, the reason it's good if you're not one that has any health conditions is that it can grow exponentially based on how much you use it or don't use it. You can let the money ride. You can take it out and spend it on expenses. But it has three tax advantages. One, you put it in tax-free, it grows tax-free, and you can take it out tax-free for use on health conditions that require certain medical products or services. So if they're approved, then you'll be able to use that money tax-free. Number three is negotiating your medical bills. I want you guys to understand everything is negotiable. So don't get overwhelmed when you get a bill and you say, oh my God, I don't know how to pay it. Call them and you can negotiate something. There's been a case that I have a friend who was able to negotiate, who was diagnosed with cancer, and she didn't have to pay the bill at all. Okay. You got to prove hardship, however, but it's something we can talk about if you're in that situation. The next thing is childcare co-ops and share cares. So in that issue, you've got rotating babysitting co-ops, you've got parenting collectives, play date exchanges. These are all times where different parents come together creating a co-op, whether it's a neighborhood co-op where you can go and drop your kids off and there's specific grandparents or elderly that said, hey, we will watch the kids on certain days. Or you can be in a parent co-op where you say, we've got 5 families and each family will take one day to watch however many families are involved on that day. So you split it out where one family gets to watch 4 or 5 kids. There's also the rotating babysitting type of co-op. There's Skillshare. So let's say you've got somebody in your neighborhood that's a musician, and that musician says that he is going to donate his time to help the children. There are ways that you can cut back on your expenses by creating a community, which is where we're trying to go. The digital age has separated us so much from getting to know each other, learning how to have conversations, how to relate with people. Using these co-ops really does help you a lot. Number 5, side hustles and child-friendly activities. When you have a side hustle, there are kids that are making all kind of money unboxing on YouTube. Find out those ways that you are able to work with your child to create additional money, whether they're kids that are very creative in art or whether you're good at sewing and you make little things. Do it with your child. It is a lot of fun. It creates great relationships, and it also shows them what work ethics looks like, which is going to be something that's very profitable for you and your child. And lastly, budgeting annual child expenses. So what this means is, if little Johnny's going to go out for football or Susie's going out for cheerleading, every year pretty much how much those expenses are. Put that into your savings plan at the beginning of the year so that you're not scrambling when the new year comes up. Where am I going to get the money? Every year it's going to be that. So put that in your annual expenses. So when that time comes along, you're able to pay easily. You're not frustrated. You're not concerned. You don't start to question yourself as to where you're going to get the money from. You've already annualized your child related expenses. And that's a big money hack for millennials, because a lot of times you wait to the last minute and then there's no money there. So again, making sure we put things in place is going to make you have a much better, happier, healthier, and more balanced life. Alicia?
Wow, that was so much information, but so helpful as well.
I was trying to get it all in.
Yes, and imagine how these little small communities can help you navigate parenthood, childcare, daily activities, because we all need a little bit relief.
Yeah.
And I know
Put
a
love back
couple
in the
that
equation, right?
exactly.
We grew up in my neighborhood. If you did something wrong, there was some elderly person on there that said, I'm going to take care of her, right? But the new generation, the digital components have separated them, where they think everything is a
Mm,
text. And you guys, relationships are everything. The power of relationships is more valuable than money, much more valuable than money. So create relationships. Come to us. We've got a community, and let us help you grow, because it's all about love. Everything we're doing here is important, but the value is just not financial. It's in your memories, it's in your relationships, it's in your passions. And that's why the Millennial Money Hacks is not just a financial tool, but it's a tool for life.
yes. Oh, so insightful. Thank you so much, Monet. And on that topic, the next one is going to be very useful for those millennials starting planting a family with a career. So
Ooh, that sounds
let me
good.
bring it to you. Yes, 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 yes. So sometimes we wait until we're a little bit more mature, and sometimes life happens and we become parents at a young age. But we also have a career. We want to feel useful outside the home. So navigating this can be quite challenging, especially for women. They have to play the role of the mother, the spouse, or a partner, and work at the same time. So, what can we do here? So, many millennials are looking for flexibility. The number one rule is, can I work from home most of the time? Or is the employer facilitating daycare center on site Or is there one nearby that in the event my child gets sick, I'm able to stop working, delegating the remaining task, and pick up the child? So there are many ways of finding a compromise. So, for example, we're looking for flexible hours, flexibility on working from home. Can I finish my work at home in the event a child gets sick? That's one of them. Also, workplace culture, where there's diversity, inclusiveness, where we all support each other and we can work in teams as well, empowering each other. Now, career goals. We want to make sure that there is room for advancement, that you start doing something, but there is a journey that allows you to grow even more at work. Monet just mentioned not too long ago network and mentoring. I remember in my corporate days when I love working with young interns that will come with great ideas. I used to call them fresh eyes, fresh blood, empower me and energize me to be a mentor then. I learned a lot from them and I was able to teach them as well. Another one, and is very significant, very important, is your self care. Sometimes we put everything in front of us as a priority, but you don't put yourself there. So remember, if there's no you, there's no career, no job, no family. So don't forget who you are and how you can become important in the many priority list that you create every single day, because you want to make sure that you have time for your mental health, your physical health as well, so you have a work balance at work. So let's not forget you, a very important element in your life. Now, financial planning. Now, parenthood comes with challenges and a lot of joy. I remember I had the opportunity to stay home for a few years, but many of our new millennials are not able to do so. I have one of my own where she have to work outside the home, come home, cook dinner, get the kid ready for bed, and so on. So, in addition to it, all the expenses that come with parenthood. So, the more organized that you can be, the better you're going to be. So, have good communication, not just with your partner, your spouse, your better half, but with your management team. So, there are flexibility in how you can achieve your responsibilities as well at work and at home as well. The more you communicate, the better you can achieve your dreams. So I used to do every afternoon when my little one will come home from work, from school. Okay, what did you learn today? Who do you talk to? Who do you play with? The more you ask questions, the more it becomes like a game with them. So do the same at the office. So the more you communicate with management, the better communication in your planning, okay, become essential to be successful. So you're not running a solo game. There are many people that can help you out as well. What do you think, Monet? Isn't millennials looking for a work-life balance where there is support, there
Oh,
is help,
yeah, yeah.
and there
And
are ways? Mhm.
no, I was just going to say, and the thing is you need to start with your HR department. Start with your HR department because, you're doing a lot more remote than ever. We never were able
Yes.
to do that. And I think a lot of you found out after COVID, there were still companies that were saying, no, we're not going to let you. Well, they're allowing you
Mm.
to. And we've got employee benefits that we can share with your HR department. If you have one that says, I don't know how we can make it work, we can show you and we can show them how to make it work to your advantage. And there's a lot of new things that they are trying to put into play right now for millennials that want to work different
Mm.
hours. like the husband works one time and the mother works another time. Either they can work it together or separately, or create
Mm,
something that's workable. So again, one of the money hacks is to understand there are people that are willing to work with you in your HR department. You can
yes.
create the type of environment and the work hours that you want, but you have to have people
Mhm.
that will go in there and show sometimes the HR director how to do it. Some of them are very young and they don't know. Some of them have been there for a long time and quite frankly, they don't want you to have it. So being able to talk to them and saying, it doesn't matter what it is, let me show you how the company can still evolve,
Yes.
how you can have a great work environment, and your
Mhm.
employees are happy because you've gone out of your way to make their life a little bit easier. And that's what we do.
Exactly. So the next money hack is coming is very, very good to you all.
Estate planning. Okay. Now I know a lot of you probably think estate planning, isn't that for old folks? No, 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 no. It is different now, you guys. Completely different. Not the way that we do it. And you will do it probably more like that later. But when we talk about it now from estate planning basics, this is in the digital world. So it's a completely different type of money hack. And I want you to understand it's just as important, just as impactful, and it's more based on some of the things that are valuable, but you cannot put a dollar amount on it. They're just priceless. So let's go on into what these digital estate plannings look like. So for millennials, you guys, we want you to be able to protect your loved ones. We want to safeguard your assets. And we understand that you're not only passing on wealth, you're passing on your ideals, you're passing on your passion, you're passing on those things that you have experienced, your hopes and dreams. So let's start with digital legacy preservation first and foremost. Creating a digital inventory detailing your accounts and passwords. So those of you who have Facebook, Instagram, all those different social media platforms, you are going to need to have a digital executor, no, executive, um, so that somebody can go in and actually go over everything that you're doing. And it's important to understand how important this person is to handle all of your online presence and also do those things that you're asking them to do. So an executor, make sure I say that right again. An executor is somebody who will oversee everything that's happening if you're no longer there. And I know there's times when I've gone into Facebook and some of my colleagues have passed on, and there's nobody looking after their accounts to take them down or to say that they've passed on. You want to have an executor so that that person can oversee your online presence and make the necessary changes. You also want to have somebody that's going to reflect your values and your memories and keeping them preserved the way you'd like to as time goes on. There's also something that we didn't have called an ethical will or legacy letter. And what that does is it's a document that preserves your values, your beliefs, and your life lessons to future generations. So if you want your grandchildren and your great grandchildren to know who you really are and not who friends say you are or family says you are, you can put this non binding document together. And what it will do is articulate your dreams, your hopes, your personal philosophies, and provide guidance to what you are about. And I think that's important. You can share your stories, impart your wisdom, express gratitude and continuity over generations. And this gives you the ability to leave a legacy that transcends material wealth. And I think that's important because as we are continuing to grow as human beings, we're understanding that work life balance is important. And what does that look like? That looks like a life worth living. It looks like fun. It feels good. It has memories. It shares experiences. So to be able to put that into an ethical will or legacy letter, you feel good writing down your accomplishments, your struggles, and how you were able to overcome every obstacle and pass that on to another generation as to if you could do it, they could too. The last one is philanthropic planning. And that is known for social causes and charitable giving. So you have opportunities to integrate your philanthropic values into a legacy, establishing a charitable trust, creating donor advice funds to causes that you deeply care about, and also involving their family in philanthropic discussions, instilling a spirit of generosity and social responsibility in future generations. So, understanding how important charitable rights, charitable abilities, the ability to donate to those causes that you feel comfortable about or you feel serious that that's a non-negotiable, putting those things in writing, whether it's in an ethical will or a legacy letter, creating a digital legacy preservation, showing philanthropically how you want to leave something to your future family. It's important to understand you can do that now through estate planning basics. We didn't have that before. So, understanding that these things are all important gives you the ability to take the things that don't have a price on it and then attach it to what we call personal artifact distribution. What does that mean? Anything that's just a memoir, an heirloom, whatever you want to put together to pass on with special instructions, you have that to be able to say, I want to make sure that my son or my daughter receives this ring or this document or understands how I feel about them or how I felt about them or what I wish I could or couldn't do. Now, you also have an environmental and sustainable legacy as well, which we didn't have before. And those of you who are really care about climate control and feel like you want to be a steward of the planet, these are increasingly larger concerns for millennials about environmental sustainability and climate change. So, in this part of estate planning, you can integrate your environmental considerations into estate plans that will leave a positive impact on the planet by inspiring future generations to prioritize environmental stewardship. So, putting all this thing together, not only what you have financially, not only what heirlooms you want to leave, but who you really are, what you really think about, what's really important to you is all now in this digital estate planning basic. So, as a millennial hack, understanding you can be yourself bigger and better than ever before because there are tools now where you can let the world know who you are, who you were, and who you wanted to be, what you accomplished, and how you have left an impact on the world. And that's what's so important about estate planning for millennials now that we just didn't have before, Alicia.
Yes. And for example, a memory that came to my heart just now was about 6 years ago. There were a lot of fires in national forest that got killed, and it impacted our earth. And a dear friend of mine who is always looking for animals and the environment said, let's do something for the earth. Instead of celebrating, instead of buying another gift that may go into a drawer and gather dust, let's look out for our earth by put a significant donation into the earth. So we planted several trees in a forest as a symbolism that we wanted our next generation to visit one day. So, and they have our names on. So think about those significant things your print in this world, because we need to pass on our beliefs. We need to pass on our loves and passion to the next generation, because
Absolutely.
we're not alone here. They need to keep going after we're gone. So thank you, Monet, for bringing us those beautiful ideas and insights that we can benefit from it.
pass the love on, whether it's financially or just in thoughts and concepts. We need it all.
Yes. And that brings us to our next topic. And I know we're running a little bit late, but this is important to all of you. Life insurance. And you say, oh, no, 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 that's too expensive. I cannot afford it. You cannot afford not to have it. And you can start affordable and then change it to something, convert it into something better. So, for example, term insurance, most people, okay, know that it only lasts a period, an amount of years, and is extremely affordable. But the disadvantage of that is that once you reach the amount of years, it expires and you didn't use it unless you face a terminal illness that you can dig into the death benefits up to 90% of it. But you can start with a term life insurance, which is extremely affordable, and then convert it a year or two later for a whole life. And you'll say, well, what are the advantages of the whole life? Very simple. The whole life is a permanent insurance that you can use it, okay, and will give you a cash value. A cash value that in case you need to borrow from, you can become your own bank in that regards. So, and you say, well, what happened to the death benefits? Well, the death benefit is still there, but it will minimize if you borrow against it. Another one, flexible, permanent insurance is IUL. It stands for Index Universal Life. And it's a little bit more flexible when it comes to the premiums. So it's what is called a target premium. Let's say it's 200 every month, but there are months that you were only able to pay 175. And then let's say 3 months later, you were able to catch up and put a little bit more. So you're there. And what happens in the IUL, it mirrors the stock market. What does that mean? You are not in the stock, but it mirrors it. So it has a floor and it has a cap. So let's say you went for 10% return of investment. Fabulous. And the stock market is performing well and it went above the 10%. Let's say you went up to 11 and a half. So you will get your return of investment on that 10% that you negotiated and not on the 11 and a half that the market performed. Now, but if the market goes down and plunge, you do not lose your money. You don't gain any, but you don't lose any. So those are the advantages of IULs that can help you out. Now, for those who don't know, many of the wealthy, like the Kennedys, Walt Disney, and the Colonel, Kentucky Fried Chicken, they use whole lives, cash values, as well as IUL to fund their dynasty, their amazing legacy that they have today. Some on food chains, some on entertainment, parks, and more. So keep that in mind. You can do the same. So for those who didn't know that, hey, now you do know. Start low, start with term, convert it into whole life or into an IUL. The choice is yours. What do you think, Monet, about that?
Well, we have a lot of different debates on that. I think I think what's important is to understand what are you using it for, right? I'm not a big proponent on term because I think when you get like an IUL, that price is so inexpensive when you're young. When you get a whole life, it's inexpensive when you're young. But if you want to wait and you want to convert it later, it's super expensive. And so then people get really upset. And we've talked to people that says, oh, our agent told us to get term because it's cheap. Get something that's valuable when you're young. Do it when you're young and figure out how to do it because it just gets more expensive with age. And so, and then, for me, I'm such a nerd when it comes to this. Can you afford it when it's much more expensive? And can your health qualify you. So if you want to get something, let's figure out how to get you into a permanent policy when you're younger so that you can use some of our infinite banking strategies and everything that will grow over time. Now, again, it really depends on what you're getting it for. You know, if you're just doing it for mortgage protection or whatever, I get it. But still, I would prefer for you to get something that's going to grow with you over time, that's not going to be more expensive to get the same exact coverage later because somebody said, oh, buy it on cost. No, buy it on value. Always buy it on value. So now you see, you got me all scrawled up. So yeah.
No, that's perfect. That clarification is even more valuable. So, and that takes us to the next money hack.
I love it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk about supplemental plans. I want to make sure that you understand. I'm not going to go in real deep because Alicia is, but there are several different types of supplemental plans. There's cancer, there's heart, accident, critical care. These are also known as indemnity plans. You can get them where they take care of individual situations, or when I say individual situations, you go to the hospital, you get paid out. You break a leg, you get paid out. You have some type of chronic or terminal illness, you get paid out based on the circumstance that is a qualifying event. Good, love it, perfect. Again, if you get it when you're younger, it can go into money that will pay your deductibles. It'll pay your co-pays. It could pay for a new car. I have seen them as expensive as using them for a new home. Critical care can go up to $500,000. And at your age, millennials, it is inexpensive. Super inexpensive. So we're going to go to a case study right now so that, again, you get this in your head. So here we have a wonderful, beautiful woman who is looking for some type of supplemental insurance. So Cheryl, a 23-year-old millennial managing school, part-time, and living expenses, has a financial health crisis. Next slide. So the reason we're going to use Cheryl is because we want to break down her expenses. And then we also want to show you how a supplemental policy came in to save the day. So here are a breakdown of Cheryl's monthly expenses. Her part-time job income is $4,000 a month. Her rent is $1,000 a month. Her car payment is $500 a month. Her health insurance and copay deductibles are $8,000 a month, or not $8,000 a month, but $8,000 if she were to have to use it and go into the hospital. And so based on just the expenses she has to pay are $5,500. Keep in mind, $8,000 is what her deductible would be, she'd have to pay if something were to happen. Okay. So Cheryl one day had a financial condition. Can you go back? Okay. So one day Cheryl had this chest pain, and what happened, it was a critical illness condition. So the doctor advised her to take 3 months off of work. Now, I don't know how many of you can keep your life going and you have to take off work for 3 months. But this is how her having a critical care illness policy, you can go to the next slide, for $75,000, and based on her age, how much it costs. Okay. So her supplemental policy, because of her age, $25 a month. So that meant for 3 months, it would cost her $75. But what was the benefit coverage? The benefit coverage was if she had to use it, it was $75,000 lump sum critical illness policy. Need I say more? No, but I'm going to, because I want you to understand that loss of work for 3 months is 12 grand. Okay. Additional expenses, $3,000 per month. So she had a total financial loss for the 3 months of $15,500. That was her financial impact. Okay. Next slide. So how does she utilize her insurance benefit? Well, the rent for 3 months was $1,000 a month. That was $3,000. Her car payments for 3 months, $1,500. Her health insurance co-pays over that time came to $8,000 because she totaled it out. Total covered expenses, $12,500. Out of her $75,000 that she got on a $25 a month policy was $62,500. Now, understand the definition of insurance is to return you back to where you were. However, in her case, it did a little bit better. When you say just a smidge, just a smidge. So indemnity policy benefits are crucial when you need them because they not only take care of the lump sum if you decide to do that, but then there are policies that will pay, $400 if you have to go get some type of exam, or if you need an x-ray, or they may pay you in some cases up to $6,000 for finding out that you have cancer on the first diagnosis. Or there's some that will pay you $165,000 because you have to have a heart replacement. So I want you to think about it. When you have health insurance, it's going to pay for all that. So when you are young, and we're talking about getting these types of policies for $20, $30, $40, it does not make sense to say, oh, I can't afford it. What are you talking about? Don't listen to other people that don't have it, because there are millennials who are getting financial advice and they are living their best lives, no matter what happens to them. So when it comes to what's a millennial hack with insurance, get the best you can while you are young, because it is going to either turn into a retirement strategy that can pay you hundreds of thousands, if not millions, or it can be something that can make that little problem or health crisis go away. So all you have to do is focus on getting better. And that's really what we want you to do. Understand when you get the right policies in the right place from the right professional, you are taking care of not only right now, but anything that could potentially happen. So money hack on insurance is doing what is best, not just for today, but for the long term. So don't let anybody tell you, I don't believe in insurance. Well, there are some agents out there that don't sell it properly, and I will agree with that. I have seen people that have come to me and said, well, this agent over here told me that this accident policy was going to protect me against anything, and I've got cancer, and it was an accident. Ridiculous. Simply ridiculous, right? And there are agents out there that give people a bad name, and I'm sorry. We can't help that. But I can tell you at our agency, our brokerage, we don't do stuff like that. We tell you exactly what the policy will cover, and that's what you want to know. But when you're growing and you're a millennial and you're creating a business, what you need to understand is when you get some type of permanent policy, you can start creating money and using strategies like an infinite banking policy that will be able to be used for creating a business. In this case with Cheryl, she could take that $50,000 and start a business. She didn't need to have an infinite banking strategy. She had cash. Indemnity policies pay you directly. They don't care where you use the money. That's the agreement. You pay us monthly, we pay you when something happens. So understand, the more you know about how this works, the more you understand why Warren Buffett owns more insurance companies than anything else. Understand the game, because it is a game. Be a real player character in this game of finance. Understand it's all within your control. Don't tell me you can't afford it. Please don't do that, because I'm going to show you how you can afford it. I will go through your finances and show you how you can have a better life by protecting today, what you have today, for a better tomorrow. And I think that's what's important when we talk about millennial hacks. Some of it's just good common sense to understand how we put these things together. So use the supplemental policies so that you can do these things to your best interest. What do you think, Alicia?
One of our agents says, use this bad situation for a better opportunity. Absolutely. So what it means is that if you have an injury and you have a supplemental insurance, the money that you will receive, the cash, keep that in mind, the cash payout that you will receive directly into your checking account, you get to use it for whatever you want.
Doesn't matter. A new home, a car, a vacation, jewelry. That's the agreement. And people don't seem to understand that. They think, oh, well, I have health insurance. This is not health insurance. This is not health insurance, but you need to have health insurance to get some of the supplemental policies. That I will tell you. Not all of them, but again, talking to a financial professional will show you how to hack your situation and get paid for it.
Yes. And that brings us to the next hack. And this one is a juicy one because not many people knows this one. So let me bring it to you guys. Now, as you can see here, disability insurance, and said, oh, did I have to get injured in the work in order to get it? Well, employers offer two types: short-term disability and long-term disability. Now, a short-term can last quite a few weeks and sometimes even months, but long-term can be years. Now, take a look at this image, which is astonishing to me because it's like 1 out of 4 people can become disabled. And what happens then? What happened to all your expenses? What happened to all the bills? You don't want to deal with disability as well as bankruptcy as you're recovering. That's the worst thing that you can do. So many people don't know that you can secure your income. That's what disability insurance is all about. Disability income protects what you make. Now, knowing that disability insurance covers for the period that you want. Let's say that your employer does not offer and you have to buy it yourself. Okay, so what are you looking at? You're looking at getting 60% of your income. And that's where the other 40%, a supplemental that Monet was going over, can help you out as well. Now, disability income do come with waiting period. What does that mean? Some come with 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. During that period of time, you don't receive any benefits. But on the following time, month, depending on your contract, okay, it goes and go retroactive, which means for all those days that you do not get paid, you get them then. Now, disability insurance can be for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 7 years. All depends on your specific needs. Now, be able to identify your worth. And that's the bottom line, is that you're valuable. Your income not just protects you, but helps your family to move forward. So you want to make sure that you are well protected. And that's the significance behind disability insurance. Now, I have a case and I'll read it. It's a 32-year-old marketing manager. She was working for a mid-sized advertising agency, passionate at her work, loved it. She was there for a few years. Sarah recently diagnosed with a chronic illness that requires frequent medical appointments and impacted her ability to work. So her HR department helped her, guided her through the process. After receiving it and submitting the claims, she started receiving disability income payments, which help her with her living expenses as well as her recovery. With the financial support that Sarah received, was able to focus on getting better, receiving treatment without the additional stress of not having enough for her expenses. So she was able to recover. She managed her condition, was able to return back to work, and the best part that her employer was able to pay for her disability income. So now, here's something that you should know. For those who have become permanent disabled and you've been, let's say, unable to work to perform for at least a year, okay? You could start receiving also what is called Social Security benefits. But you submit the claim so you can start receiving it. And then you have to wait 5 months, guys, 5 months period where they will review your case. And then on the 6th month after you submitted the claim, your benefit is start paying, and is also retroactive as well. Keep that in mind for those who become permanent disabled. So there are multiple ways that you guys can help yourselves. Think about how important you are to yourself, to your family, and to your employer. Make sure you do your homework and see what are the employee benefits that you receive. And if you don't, reach out to us. We'll be able to help you and your HR department navigating these waters and introducing better employee benefits. What do you think, Monet?
I think that's wonderful. So can they use disability for pregnancy?
Yes. So in those cases, doesn't cover per se the pregnancy, but if the person encounters a difficult and she had bed rest, for example, then in that case, the disability kicks in. And again, you have to look at your waiting period, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. And then
And
the
we
person
also,
start receiving benefits. Mhm.
yeah, and we also have it where the husband can use part of the disability too. So there's some additional hacks that we can't go into at this time. You can give us a call because there are so many ways that disability has grown to be a much more robust type of policy where they'll take care
Mhm.
of the other person at home for other reasons being disabled. And it's wonderful when you have somebody that can explain to you how disability works and how to utilize it for the husband and the wife. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes. And I know we're a little bit past the time, but in conclusion, let me bring you the summary.
Okay, so on the summary, terrific. What we really wanted to do, you guys, is show you more about how you can budget your life better, how you don't have to have your life taking control of you, but you can take control of your life, what it looks like to have college loans, how to liberate yourself from undue stress based on having bills and loans you just can't afford. And next slide, talk about family planning, how you can get a community effort, use co ops and all the different types of neighborhood relationships. Find those people that are in your area that could help you, that might have a skill set that you can share with your family. Learning how to use insurance to the fullest, knowing that it's all put into place for you. And yes, it's not a nonprofit. So, yes, you do have to pay for it, but the rewards and benefits totally outweigh what you would pay at your age for insurance. So, being able to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it is to give you every millennial hack so that you can live a better life with less stress, with more control, and see a better, more profitable, prosperous future. So, Alicia?
Thank you, Monet. I know for sure several people are sending via Messenger and Facebook. Thanks for this amazing information they received today. And don't forget, a PDF with all this detail will be available after the session. So don't be shy, reach out to us. This is what we're here for, to help you out, to guide you, to be stronger and empower the next generation. And that's exactly what Monet and I are doing today here. We have a team ready for you to help you in any way we can. So thank you, thank you, thank you for coming, and stay tuned because there's more coming your way every month.
And all I want to say is, millennials, thank you for embarking on this journey with us. At BIVX, we're more than just advisors, we're more than just financial professionals. We're partners in your pursuit of financial freedom. Together, let's unleash your potential, explore new horizons, and live your best life. Welcome to the BIVX family, where support, solutions, and success awaits you. Thank you for spending this time with us. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.